How, bless you. That's my son. Hi. So, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do this without your foundation. Hi. So we're continuing on the Introduction to Product series. And I think I'm going to do the singles next. So when I talk about a hack pack includes a highlight, a contour, a blush, and an illuminator. Your highlight and your contour are going to provide the coverage. Your blush is going to, kind of give you a more youthful appearance. And then the illuminator actually has no coverage at all, but it'll provide that dewiness to your face. It's just that extra oomph. And some people don't really prefer it for everyday wear. I actually do. Once I started using it, I kind of became addicted to it. So I'm going to apologize for my manicure or lack thereof manicure right now, but it's kind of late. My kids are all in bed. My husband's sleeping, so I thought it'd be a good time to do this video. So anyhow, so the singles are going to come in these beautiful tins. The branding is amazing. And they just slide open and reveal your single. So this one's a highlight, and they're all different. So here's another highlight. Or I'm sorry, I'm gotta get used to this setup. And then we have a contour, a blush. Like, the graphics on here are amazing. They look so good. And actually, when I first got my first set, I didn't know what I was going to do with them, but I wasn't going to throw them away. They were so pretty. So I just kind of stored them in my makeup drawer. And they sat there until I actually had a use for them, which was when I got my Pro Kit. I got so many different shades, and I could put the ones that I wasn't using away back in their tins, and I keep them in this little cup thing. So anyway, we can go through the highlights. So I think they have, is it 5 different color highlights? I'm going to try and do this without blinding y'all with the mirror. But we have Moonlit. I'm going backwards. Moonlit, which is the lightest color, and then White Peach, and then Aura. This is going in order of color palettes, I guess, from light to darkest. And then Sunlit would be next. Sunlit, Amber, and Wheat. I actually can use, this one actually looks kind of dark, but it looks really well. And I'm sorry for this, it's almost 11 o'clock on Friday night, so it is kind of worn off since 8 o'clock this morning, 7 o'clock this morning. But I can kind of fluctuate in between Amber, Sunlit, and Aura, which is this one. So 3 colors. So you really kind of, your skin throughout the year, in the winter months is probably lighter than it is in the summer months, and you can fluctuate thin. But honestly, even, within the week I change. It just kind of depends on what look I'm going for. Sometimes I just feel like with what I'm wearing, or feel like internally I just want to look tanner because it just makes me feel prettier, I guess. So I'll go with a darker color. So that was 6 highlight colors. And there are 1, 2, 4 contour colors. Is that right? Yes. I thought there were more, but I guess there isn't. So we have Walnut, which is actually going to be your base. These are two are these exact same color. More for like your lighter skins. And then there's Ash, which I love. It really gives you the more sculpted look, which I tend to go for more on a daily basis than just warming up my face. And then there's Stone and Shadow. Shadow is the darkest, and it's actually not used for as a foundation, because all of these, the highlights and the contours are foundations. So your highlights are going to give you, they're going to brighten up your face, brighten up your face, and then the contours are just are used to recreate those shadows. The difference in the mascara line versus traditional foundation is it's not all one color. And I think that's the hardest thing for people to grasp, is for so long we've been covering our face, you know, creating this like basis for us to color on, and it's like a solid color. For what reason, I don't know, other than that's the way that we learned it from our mom and them from their mom. And that's just the way it's always been. The game changer here is, why are we coloring our face all one color just to color it back in with darker colors and our pinks, and it just doesn't make any sense. So your highlight and your contour in these palettes is your foundation. So it's hard to think that you're going to have two contrasting colors on your face as your foundation. But I promise you, once you do it and you get used to it, excuse me, you're going to wonder like, how come you ever did it the other way? So those are your contours. And like I said, the contours are going to create that shadow. You're just recreating the brighter parts and the shadows that are naturally on your face. And then the blushes, I can't tell you how, there are quite a few blushes, but here's a few. In my double decker palette, there's Desert Sunset and Pink Grapefruit, and actually that's the one that I kind of use on a daily basis. I love that color. And this is Petal. I couldn't tell you, what is this other one? These little things, these little tins pop out, and your compacts are magnetic, but on the back of each of your tins it'll say the color. This one's Baby Watermelon. And you'll notice that the colors in some of these are crazy, but it's just because they're highly pigmented, which is great because you don't have to use very much at all. A little bit seriously goes a long way. We have at pre-launch, I took like this crazy color and put it on one of my girlfriends, and all of us literally gasped, and she had no idea why, but it's because there was this like crazy pink on her face. And we took the magic egg and blended it out, and it actually worked. It looked so perfect. Like it was crazy, but right when you put it on, if you put too much, it can kind of scare you a little bit. And they scare you sometimes, like in these color palettes, or in the tents, because they're so bright. I mean, just like, look at these. They're crazy, but they're beautiful. And when they go on, they're even more beautiful. And those are just gonna give you, like I said earlier, like that youthful appearance. And then the last one is the illuminators, and there are only 3 illuminators. There's your Pearl, and that one actually is a little bit dirty. So this is Pearl right here, and that's the lightest one. And then Honey it just looks gorgeous. Honey is gonna be our like our medium type color, and then what is this one called? That's our darkest one. I don't think I've ever actually used that color. Rose Gold. It's beautiful though. So those are your highlighters, and you're going to use those just like on what do you call this? Like your brow bone? I don't know what this is. Whatever this is. And then along the tip of your nose and on your bow of your lip. And those are just going to create like that beautiful dewiness, fresh look. Like I said, not everybody likes to use it every day, and you don't have to. I feel like the 3 most important are going to be your highlight, contour, and your blush. Like, don't skip the blush. Some people are afraid of blush. Don't skip the blush. Like, you'll be surprised. Once you put it on, it kind of just it completes the whole face. It's crazy how some people, how it changes the look of it. Like, if you don't have any on versus when you put some on. So those are the singles, and then there's the eyeshadow singles, and I don't think I have an example to show you, and I'm really sad, but they come in really cute little tins like this, but they're smaller. And the eyeshadows, these tins actually, and all the singles I've showed you so far are $12 a piece. So if in your hack pack, which you'll see contains 4, they're $12 a piece, so that comes out to $48, y'all. $48 for your face. I pay close to that for just like my pressed powder. I used to use Lorac pressed powder, and it was about $38 and some change, close to $40, and that was just for the powder. Not to mention the concealer and the blush and my highlighter, which my highlighter, when I said highlighter, I used to refer to my illuminator as my highlighter. So anyhow, and they last. So I got this one in the beginning of December, and I use it every day, and sometimes twice a day depending on if I'm going out that night, but usually just once a day. But it'll last me, it's lasted me since then, and I'm barely touching the bottom of the 10. So, and then for girls that don't use it every day, I've heard last up to like 6 months on your foundation. The blushes, they last so much longer. So do the illuminators, because you're not using as much of it. I feel like because the highlighter, at least on my face, I cover more surface area, so that one's gonna run out more quicker than the others. But you can buy them in singles, so you just replace the ones that you're out of. So $12. I mean, you really can't beat that. The eyeshadows are going to be pretty comparable. Actually, not really. I say comparable in price and quality, but I love the quality. I mean, they're high quality. They are, I think it's like $12. $12 a shadow. But I wanted to, so I had the Naked palette. I'm sure most of y'all are familiar with the Naked palette. The Naked palette, I was saying this at the launch party, comes with all these colors, right? All these colors. Each one of those little tins holds 1.3 grams of shadow. 1.3 grams. Each mascara shadow, these are the shadows, aren't they gorgeous? Is 5 grams. 5 grams. So it's like almost 3 times as much. The quality is there. The price is there when you break it out that way, because it's going to last you literally like 3 times as long. Also, what I like to point out is, I want you to just look at something, okay? So how much I paid for this, and you can clearly see which colors that I use. And I'm pretty sure only 2. I've had this for like 2 years. And I don't wear eyeshadow every day, but are gone. everything else has pretty much not even been touched. So I paid how much to use 2 shadows? That's all I'm saying. Well, my husband did. It was a present. But point here is that with the mascara shadows, you can pick the colors that you want. They're in the same little singles. They pop out. Pick the colors that you want and just buy the ones that you want. You're kind of stuck with what comes in the palette with in your Naked palette, and similar comps or similar comps. But that's not even the best part, y'all. So the best part, and I will go on about these in the next video, are the compacts that hold the shadow, because your shadows are here. Your foundation, your foundation palette, your hack palette can be on the top one. So you want your creams away from your shadows, because that's just a whole nother nightmare when the powdery stuff gets in your creams and then it starts, yeah, you don't want that. So that's why it's 2 layers, so you can have your creams on one and your powders on the other. Ooh, and don't let me, I guess you can't really tell me, but I need to talk to y'all about the 2 other powders that we have. But you can have your powders here, your creams here, throw this in a bag with a couple of brushes, and you're good to go. So just think about how big your makeup bag is when you're going on a weekend trip or on vacation for longer than a weekend trip, like how much stuff you take, versus this thing. I mean, it's the size of my face. It is not big at all. And this is just one option. I mean, if you don't wear eyeshadow, then it can be as small as this. This is ridiculous. I mean, this is like a game changer, y'all. Like, your whole face in this compact. So anyway, but the last 2 singles that we have are powder singles, and it's the Cayman bronzing powder and the setting powder, which is called Vanilla Dust. And I actually use those quite a bit, because more the setting powder, because I have oily skin, so I like to set that with my face with setting powder to make it last a little bit longer, or a lot longer throughout the day. So those are our singles, and I think I covered it all. I hope I covered it all. So that'll do it for this video, and in the next video I'm gonna go over the compacts. Until next time, I'll see y'all next video.